Recording in progress. Yeah, hi everyone. Hello. Welcome to our IP at Case Study webinar series. My name is Jia, your host for today's webinar. So we have come to the second topic of the IP at Case Study series, where we will be diving deep into the IP activities of Meta. So with about 1/3 of the world's population having at least on Meta's platform, Meta is one of the most powerful players, if not the most powerful player, in a thoroughly monopolized social media landscape. The shift of Facebook to the Metaverse has jump-started a new tech ecosystem, and hence it will be interesting to find out Meta's approach to IP in the virtual world. This IP case study series is presented by Mr. Lok Chun Ho. Today, we'll explore how Meta conquers the digital social media and the Metaverse world with IP rights. So if you are interested in our IP at Case Study series, you may scan this QR code to register for it. For more inquiries, feel free to contact us at this number and also this email address. So as usual, there will be a Q&A session after the presentation. So there is no interruption while the speaker is presenting. However, you are encouraged to post your comments and questions during the presentation and we will try to answer each and every questions when it's time for Q&A. So through this topic today, you will get to learn a lot about Meta's IP activities and also strategies. So please share this webinar with your family and friends and also your colleagues by clicking the share button, which is available on Facebook and YouTube. So I see we have quite a number of participants here. Hi, everyone. Do me a quick favor. Please introduce yourself, your company's name. Yeah. So while waiting for your response, we would also like to know why you are interested in today's topic. Is it because you want to know more about Meta's IP activities since you are a user of Meta's products and services? Or is it because Meta is the trend now? You would like to know more about the role of IP in the virtual world? Or if you are planning to develop a Metaverse or in the process of developing a Metaverse or social media platform, you can also let us know. Maybe you are preparing to protect your inventions through IP, which is why you have signed up for today's webinar. You just simply want to become rich and successful as Mark Zuckerberg. So let us know why you are in today's topic. You can in the chat box on Zoom, on Facebook, or even on YouTube. Oh, hi. Hi, Namzo. Yeah, you are an innovator and founder director. Okay, hi. We have a friend from Bangladesh. So your company's name is Pumpkin Plus Agro Innovation Limited. Hi. So, hi Namzo, what's your reason of signing up for today's topic? Oh, thank you for providing your email address as well. So we have more than 30 participants on Zoom. I believe we have more on YouTube and also on Facebook. Oh, hi, we have an attorney from Arizona. So you want to learn more about potential IP implications in the web here, Shiman. So both of role of IP in Metaverse. Yeah, well, we hope to receive more responses from you. So before we start the presentation. Okay, so Namzo has a question here for how Facebook is planning to transform this fantastic social media into more impactful use for multi-stakeholders. So yeah, our speaker will answer your questions during Q&A session. Okay, hi, Aslin. Oh, you would like to hear more opportunities through Meta industry, especially on how IP can be managed for Metaverse. Yeah, Metaverse is the trend now. So I think today's topic would, answer most of your questions related to IPs for the Metaverse because it's something very new. All right, so you can tell us more about yourself in the chat box while our speaker presents his talk. So before we start, let me introduce you our speaker today. So he's Mr. Lok Chun Hong, the founding partner of Pinplus IP Group. So he has been very active in IP prosecution, litigation, and also monetization matters in the Southeast Asia region for the past 20 years. So, yeah, without further much ado, let's welcome Mr. Lok.
Yep, thank you, Jai, for the introduction. I'm sharing my screen right now. Can you all see my screen?
Yep, we can see.
Okay, yeah, welcome to everyone. Good afternoon to everyone. And I also noticed that there are audience coming from outside Southeast Asia. I'm happy to see that there is a fellow attorney from America also joining our forum today, and also from Bangladesh. A very warm welcome to everyone. Today, in the following 1 hour, I hope to explore with the audience today a case study on Meta, and previously it is known as Facebook, right? And we would like to see how Meta uses intellectual property rights to dominate the social media world and potentially in the metaverse world. So this is going to be our topic today. A little bit of introduction about myself. I'm a patent lawyer for the past 20 years, actively practicing in the Southeast Asian region. And I'm also active in the IP protection and monetizations work. Okay, today I'm going to look at my topic will be divided into three parts. First of all, I'm going to look into some basic fundamentals of IP rights, and also a short introduction to Facebook business model, and or a little bit also about the social media targeted marketing business model invented by Facebook. And the second part of my presentation, I'll be looking into the Facebook IP strategy in the social media industry, social media business, and also in the third part of my presentation, we are going to take a glimpse into what Facebook has done for the metaverse world, their IP strategy in the metaverse world. So this is the outline of my presentation today. So first of all, I would like to start by giving a very short introduction to IP. When we talk about IP, we usually talk about the rights, like the patent rights. If you have a new invention and you can protect and own the new invention by way of patent. And if you have a brand, you would like to protect it by a trademark, your content, you can protect it by copyright. And if you have any external appearances, you can protect as in a registered design. All these intellectual properties are an asset, and we are going to see, intellectual property asset or the intangible asset are in fact more important than tangible asset right now in this knowledge-based economy. And what is the most important characteristic of IP is it is a legal monopolistic right. So if you have a new invention and you were to patent it, then you would have a monopoly over the invention. And today we are going to look into some of the key patents filed by Facebook and see how they use this monopoly power to enhance their market share. And all these IPs rights that we talk about, they are all jurisdictional right, because basically IPs are the legal monopolistic right given by the government of the land. So if you want your protection in a particular country, then you have to go to that country for the legal monopolistic right. So when we talk about IP, we have to be concerned about which jurisdiction or which market you want to own the IP. Last but not the least, all IPs are limited by time. They are limited by every IP has a lifespan, so we need to continuously renew and maintain the IP for it to be valid. Okay, so how does IP create value? It creates value by creating a barrier of entry for over your idea or your new innovation or your brand. So companies who are doing innovation, one of the most important thing is for them to create this legal barrier of entry, create an IP more to protect your new ideas from your competitors. So this is the first value that IP can bring to the table. The second value is for you to own a legal barrier of entry, right? When you have an IP, then you have the right to do the business. So you can see from today's case study that in the early days of Facebook, when it tries to go into the social media market, it faces certain obstruction from the competitor. So it has encountered some legal suit. So it has to overcome that in order to do their business in the social media world. So we look at one of the case study to see how IP is important for a company to gain freedom to operate, or the FTO. Okay, so in today's knowledge-based economy, I think intellectual property is the main engine of growth. For any companies to grow their business, they would have to come up with new function, new ideas, new innovation. They have to be concerned about building a brand. So all these new ideas, you can own all these ideas by protecting different form of intellectual property. So today, in the Facebook case studies, we want to see how Facebook protects some of its social media function, some of its metaverse function using the patent. So we are going to share about 8 to 10 patents filed by Facebook to protect its functional innovation in the social media and also in the metaverse world. And also Facebook is also one of the most valuable brands, and we will see how Facebook protect the trademark, the portfolio of trademark that it has. And for Facebook to enter the metaverse world, what are the new classes of marks that Facebook has registered? And of course, as a company that runs on software, all the coding, all the source code, all the content in Facebook and also in Metaverse, they are all protected by copyright. So intellectual property is one of the most important asset in today's world. If you look at the Fortune 500 companies, you will see that the 5 most valuable companies: Apple, Alphabet, Microsoft, Amazon, and Facebook. If you look at their market value, you will see that more than 80% of the market, the value comes from the intangible asset. So the importance of intangible asset has grown in importance over the years. In the early days, in the industrial age, I think the tangible assets are more important, but in today's knowledge-based economy, the intangible assets are more, definitely more important to the value of a company. So this is a table on the value of intangible asset versus the enterprise value. The enterprise value is the total market cap, and the intangible value is the value of the IPs and also the database. So Facebook, as you can see from the table, it is ranked number 5 in terms of the value of intangible value, and more than 79% of the value of Facebook actually comes from the intangible assets. Okay, so let me just go a little bit into Facebook and also the business model of Facebook, right? As we all know, as what the host mentioned just now, 1/3 of the world population are members of Facebook. Today, Facebook has more than 2 billion active user worldwide, and Facebook definitely comes up with a lot of business model innovation and also technological innovation to protect its business model and also to grow its market share and profit margin. Okay, so if you look at Facebook today, it is one of the biggest social media company. Facebook builds technologies that helps people to connect through the Facebook platforms. We build community and also we build business. Facebook was launched in year 2004, and over the years, it has changed the way people connect. Facebook owns a portfolio of companies like Messengers, Instagram, WhatsApp, and all these apps empowered billions of people across the world. And last year, 2021, Facebook changed its name to Meta. It is moving beyond the 2D screen towards the 3D immersive Metaverse technology to build the next revolution in social technology. And there are some competitors, of course, in the social media world and also in the different space where Facebook is operating in. So to remain relevant, Facebook is always looking for new direction to compete, and Metaverse is the new direction. So today we will look into the social media and also the Metaverse IPs that social media has developed. Okay, so a little bit of history about Facebook. Facebook was actually founded by Mark Zuckerberg. Initially, what Zuckerberg did was he started a dating website called the Face Mesh. The Face Mesh is actually a website, it's a dating website where you can compare, the pictures of putting two pictures of the undergraduate together from the online Facebook of Harvard University. So put the two faces together and try to ask the user to choose the hotter person. So the Face Match managed to attract a lot of traction, a visitor. It managed to get a lot of visitor in the first 4 hours of going online. But it was shut down because, the Harvard administration felt that this face match actually breached the security policy and the privacy policy of the university. So what Zuckerberg did was Zuckerberg coded another new website known as the Facebook. And it started with some seed money from himself and also another fellow student. Both of them invested $1,000 in building the website. So the Facebook was launched in February 24, and the initial membership was restricted to the student of Harvard University. And within a month, almost half the undergraduate has registered to become members of the Facebook. And eventually, the Facebook was expanded to all the university in the United States and in Canada. And after that, it has expanded so successfully. And today, in 2021, it has 2.2 billion active user with 500,000 user added daily. This is how fast this platform has managed to attract traffic and traction. And in October 2021, Facebook was renamed as Meta, and by doing so, Mark Zuckerberg placed a bold bet on his vision for the future. A future where everybody are connected and live in a virtual universe. And if you look at the financial, right, Facebook, when Facebook was started, it has some angel investors coming from some of the successful technopreneur. One of the co-founder of PayPal, Peter Thiel, actually invested early in Facebook. and Facebook, when listed in year 2021, at a market share of US dollar $38. At the IPO, the company was valued at 100 billion US dollar. Today, I think if you look at the share price of Facebook, it is valued at 188 US dollars. And when Facebook was listed, it has an income of 5 billion US dollar. In 2021, Facebook revenue has grown to 117 billion US dollar, compared to 86 billion in 2020. So despite the ravages of COVID-19, right, the company revenue has grown unrelented, right? The company has become more and more popular despite the COVID-19 pandemic. So and as for the social media, I think Facebook is a relatively newcomer to the social media world. Before Facebook, there are other successful social media platforms, like, for example, Friendster. For those of you who are old enough, you probably remember Friendster. Friendster was, which was launched in 2022, was the first social media that actually hit the world, and it has reached 115 million users in 2009, and it was sold to MOL Global. But due to some technical problems and also the trust issue between the user and the site, Friendster eventually lost popularity, and it was eventually shut down in 2015. And the second social media platform that was also popular before Facebook was the MySpace platform. MySpace platform reached about 100 million users in 2005, 2006. But eventually, it was sold to News Corp, a media company, and thereafter, News Corp was more interested in advertising revenue. They didn't really invested much in the technology innovation, and MySpace was eventually overtaken by Facebook. And as you have seen just now, Facebook was started in 2004, and by 2008, it has overtaken MySpace to become the most popular social media platform in the world. And what Facebook has brought to the table is a robust and reliable social media platform powered by proprietary technology, and it is robust enough to handle billions of active users at the same time. So many of us are attracted to Facebook because of the following features. It has ease of use. It is easy to use. It has certain innovation, like the way we could post, we could update, we could chat in real time. It is something that was not there before until it was introduced by Facebook. And also, Facebook gives good user experience. It has functions like likes, followers, and comments functions, which makes people feel noticed. Right? This is one of the functions that Facebook has, and it is also multifunctional. It is not only for entertainment, it is also for news, it is also for e-commerce and advertisement. So some of the features that I mentioned here, some of the innovation, some of the user experience and interface, they are actually innovation which are protected by some of Facebook patent. After this, we would dive into some of the patent which was filed by Facebook to protect some of these innovations. Okay, and as a result of all these functions, of all these functional advantages, Facebook managed to be the world largest or most popular social network platform. As of January 2022, it has 2.9 billion active users, and it is worth noticing that Facebook is not only the Facebook platform. It's not the only platform that attracts a lot of users. Under the Facebook portfolio, Facebook also own WhatsApp, Instagram, and also Facebook Messenger. And each of these platforms on its own rights has also attracted billions of active user. So as a group, Facebook has the most active social media user in the world, the most active user as of today. And this is how the number of active users have grown for Facebook companies. It has grown, I would say, quite exponentially over the years. And the other thing that Facebook has done is that it has reinvented advertising. John Wanamaker, the father of modern advertising, has once remarked that half of the money that he spent on advertising was wasted. But the problem is he doesn't know which half. So this is the problem with putting up advertisement. You don't know whether the advertisement has any result. So what Google has done, Google has innovated this by linking the advertisement to the specific keywords that you want to search. So this is the Google AdWords business model. So what Facebook has done is it has gone one step further. It links advertisement to the targeted user that you want to sell to. So because Facebook has billions of users, Facebook knows everything about you, about your personality, about your likings. So it is able to package all this information, and it can profile your personal data, and it can let the advertiser target their ads to their targeted customer who are users of the platform. So this is the one of the business model innovation that has been that has made successful by Facebook by linking ads to targeted users. So this is a business model, right? This is an indirect business model by giving unlimited access to the Facebook user of entertainment. So the user would agree to give to Facebook information about yourself, and all this information about yourself will be packaged and sold as targeted ads to the businesses. Businesses will pay ads based on the targeted user that they want to feed their advertisement to. And now what Facebook has done is to move to a new territory, the Metaverse world, trying to bring this business model to the virtual world. Okay, and as you see what happened now in the advertisement world, the money will follow the eyeball. More and more advertisers, more and more businesses are advertising on mobile internet. And you see that the huge chunk of the advertising money are spent on mobile internet. And if you look at the traditional medias like newspaper and magazine, I think the ad money spending has decreased tremendously, and it is growing negatively for the past few years. So Facebook is one of the major beneficiary of this trend, and together with Google, 60%, more than 60% of the worldwide digital and real estate are controlled by these two companies, Google and Facebook alone. They own 60% of the worldwide digital ad. So let's come into the IP aspect of Facebook or Meta. Right? As you can see, Facebook owns a number of very important brands. It includes Instagram, WhatsApp, Oculus, and also Messenger. And today, in 2001, Facebook changed the corporate brand from Facebook to Meta. So now the new brand is Meta, and these other brands, Facebook Messenger, are portfolio brands of Meta. And Facebook grow its brand portfolio by growing its own brand and also by acquisition. So if you look at the table, we can see that over the years, Facebook has acquired many new companies like WhatsApp, like Oculus, like Instagram, and by doing so, Facebook was able to enter into new market very, very quickly. In fact, the venture into the metaverse is actually riding on what Oculus has built up over the years. Oculus has been a virtual reality company, and using this technology, the technology that was developed by Oculus, Meta Facebook was able to launch into a new metaverse world. Right, this is what Facebook has done. So, what is the value of Facebook brand? It, this ranking by the Interbrand 2021, Facebook is actually ranked number 15. Yeah, the Facebook value, Facebook brand is valued at 36 billion US dollar. Okay. Let me just adjust. So if you look at the the market cap of Facebook as a company and look at the brand assigned to the Facebook brand, you would say that the brand itself is worth 12% of the company's value comes from the Facebook trademark. Okay. So I would like to go next into the patent portfolio of Facebook. Okay, as you can see, Facebook has been filing patent actively in the most recent years. But when before the IPO, Facebook's patent was quite far and few in between. But after the IPO, Facebook started to actively doing R&D and filing more and more patents. Okay, so I would like to share with you one of these case, the problems. One of the, let me just take out this bar at the top. Okay, never mind. Okay, so there was an incident involving Facebook when Facebook was about to get listed. In year 2012, right? Facebook was listed in year 2012. But in March, 2 months before Facebook IPO, Facebook received a lawsuit from Yahoo. Yahoo actually launched a patent infringement action against Facebook 2 months before Facebook IPO, saying that Facebook actually infringed 10 or more of the 10 of the Yahoo's patent. Those 10 patents owned by Yahoo actually touch on social media concepts, about messaging function, about advertising model, and also about the privacy control. So in this patent suit, Yahoo alleged that Facebook entire social media model, including the function to create profile and also to connect with one another, are actually patented by Yahoo. And Facebook has no freedom to operate, to use those functions in the Facebook social media network because of the Yahoo's patent. And at that stage in 2012, Facebook was still very young in filing patent. It doesn't have that many patents. So in order to fight this legal suit, Yahoo, Facebook immediately went around and purchased 680 patents from IBM and relating to messaging, relating to social media, because it lacks, it doesn't have enough ammunition to fight this patent war. So it has to buy from outside. So it acquired more than 600 patents from IBM and return fire on Yahoo. And, alleging that, yes, I infringed some of your patent, but you also infringed some of the patent that I bought from IBM. So you have now something to bargain. You gain some bargaining chip by acquiring those patents, and thereafter, both parties came to a settlement. As you can see in the patent suit, in the patent world, there's a lot of cross licensing and settlement. It happens between Android and Apple. It happens in Apple, Facebook, and Yahoo. Both parties say, okay, now I wouldn't sue each other. Let's live and coexist together, and they do cross licensing. So from there on, Facebook realized that to compete, successfully in the social media world, it has to have a arsenal of patents. Without this arsenal of patent, competitors can just come and stop me from doing my business. So I will be brought to a legal suit that I probably might lose out. So as a result of that, Facebook went about acquiring more patents. And one of the things that they do is they acquire patents from other players, the more established players like AOL, IBM, AT&T. And it also started to file a lot of patents in the areas that is relevant to Facebook. And the key patents are actually in the digital data processing, data transmission, and also data processing system. Yeah, so these are some of the numbers that you can see. Facebook started to file a lot of patents on how you can process the data, you can transmit the data, you can communicate within the network, and the numbers run into thousands. Thousands of patents are filed in those areas. So here I'm going to share with you. I'm going to share with you some of the patterns that actually make Facebook one of the most successful social media company. So the first pattern that I would share to you is they have come up with a system to analyze. You have billions of users. It's virtually impossible for you to, analyze the personality of the user. And it employs AI, artificial intelligence, big data, to analyze the posts and the messages of the user of Facebook. And from these messages, you can do a categorization of the user's personality, based on the degree of openness, about your degree of extro and also emotional stability. You can profile your user, and you can choose what kind of ads or what kind of story to display to the user. So this is one of the innovations started by Facebook, and this feature was actually patented in this particular patent, right? It is a patent that allows the system to determine the personality characteristic and to decide what kind of content to be posted to the user. So this is the claim of that patent number 9740752. It is a system that do characterization and personality profiling and determine what kind of post or ads to be fed to that user. So as you can see, the claim one in a patent, when you file a patent, you actually, what you want to claim is a combination of element, right, that constitute your invention, that forms your invention. And this particular system, the invention comprises of a number of steps which can be implemented by a software, right? So what this system does is you collect the linguistic data of the user, you analyze the characteristic of the user, and you determine from the characteristic what is the personality profile of the user using statistical model, and you store that statistical personality characteristic in the user profile, and based on that profile you present the right content from the advertiser to the user. So when you open up your Facebook, every user with different profile would have different content fed to their to the screen, right? Because of this particular software that is used in the system and which is already patented by Facebook. So this is one of the patent that I think has differentiate what Facebook can do compared to the other social media players. And also, Facebook would also use the AI engine that it has to analyze, the a user's uh, uh, his life history, and you use the system to predict the major life event of the user, like for example your birth, your death, your graduation, and all that is likely to happen, and use that kind of prediction to select what kind of story or ads to display to the user. Okay, so by using the life chronology of the user, do some prediction of the next major life event, and use that information to fit the ads, the right ads. And this software, this AI software, is also patented in a patent, was filed in 2010. Using this software, Facebook can effectively predict the life change event of a user based on the communication data of the user, based on the profile of the user, and you can try to predict what's coming up next for the user, and fit the right content to the user. So this is the second way, right? You can gain traction, right? Because for the user, you know that, okay, when I was about to get graduation, then I would have certain information, news about graduation, and probably some advertisement related to the graduation ceremony. And I feel that, oh, this is very useful. And for Facebook, this type of information you can also feed it to the advertiser. So by filing a patent on this software flow, Facebook control this business model to actually feed the right ads or news to the user. I would like to also share with you another feature that Facebook has used to grow their community, to grow the number of users, to gain traction. You'll be wondering why Facebook can have billions of active users. So in order to achieve that, Facebook must have a system that actively introduce people to you, right? And the people that you introduce by Facebook must be someone you already have some link in the past. Okay, so this is one of the system that Facebook use to identify the link and also to suggest new user to use. So what Facebook does is Facebook analyze the pictures, right? Pictures of when you take your camera and capture a photo, your picture will be analyzed by Facebook, and the Facebook will assign a camera signature to the photo you take, because the camera that you use may have some 40 lens scratches or some 40 pixel in your photo that you take. So this this 40 pixel or lens stretches will be your signature, and this signature will be attached to you. So whenever you send a photo across to another person and that person tag your photo, then Facebook knows that the person that you send the photo to is related to you, because he tags the photo that you send, right? And this photo that you send has a camera signature, which can be linked back to you. So by doing that, Facebook knows that there's some relationship between you, and they will suggest the two person to be linked, right? This is how Facebook identify a lot of new user to be suggested to the existing user. So if you look at the technology behind this system, again, it is a software flow that talks about, if one takes a photo, you assign a signature to the photo that you take based on the pixel fault or the camera scratches that you have. And then the user that received a photo, you link them and you suggest an association to them, ask them to add you as friend. So this flow was patented also by Facebook, right? This is one of the way where technology is employed to introduce more users. The next patent that I would like to share with you is you can use the photo to predict the household member related to you. And by doing that, you can actually deliver content not only to you, but also to your family members, right? Because they are all associated. So this is using, again, AI, photo analysis of the photo that you post, predict relationship between you and your household members, and use this information to deliver content to you and to your household member. So this patent, again, is patented using a software. It's implemented using a software. So the system, whenever you post a photo with a group, so this system behind will do a texture, not only the photo, but the texture information that you key into the social media. Then they will use the trained text analysis model and the trained image analysis model, the AI, analyze and predict the relationship between you and people in the same photo. And whenever you receive something, your members related might receive the same information. So this is another way, right? The committee was good. And let me just move forward. Because of the billions of users and there's a lot of objectionable content on the internet now, it's impossible to manually flag and remove the content. So what Facebook has done is using AI to automatically flag and remove objectionable content. And this again is protected by a patent, right? This is protected by a patent. And just excuse me, I would like to hide this. Okay, never mind, because this is blocking some of the view. I move it to the bottom. Okay, sorry. Yep. So this, if you look at the flow again of this pattern, it is about using AI and using big data to select, you can identify certain word as objectionable, and using AI, to look at the content, compare to see whether it hits the threshold value of objectionable matter and automatically remove it, right? This is another way where you can clean up the social media of objectionable material. And the next one is Facebook is also moving into mobile commerce, and using mobile commerce, they are using bot, they are using AI to do e-commerce. So in this particular pattern, it describes a way when you're using Messenger and there's a merchant using a messaging bot trying to talk to you about what you want to buy. And if there is a demand made by the customer that they want to buy something, then the AI can connect, can identify that using the natural language processing, and they will initiate a payment transaction and using that to complete the e-commerce using the messenger system that they have. So again, this particular flow of using a bot, using a payment gateway, using AI is protected by Facebook. So if any other competitor wanting to use payment gateway with bot with AI in the chat, they will be infringing the pattern of Facebook. So you can see that a lot of core flow in the social media world, which we take for granted, right? That someone just introduced me, some new user, I can easily use the bot to make payment. That uh, my profile is being analyzed and use it to introduce to my next live event. These are all features that has been innovated by Facebook. It has been innovated using technologies like AI, like uh, uh, big data, and these solutions are all patented. Yeah, and this is the way that Facebook ensure that if any competitor were to come in, I have an IP mode to keep you out from my territory using the patent's exclusionary monopolistic power. Okay, so let me move into the metaverse now, because what we have talked about is relating to social media. Social media has brought Facebook to what it is today. It is one of the world's largest companies. But moving forward, Meta or Facebook also feel that there are many competitors coming up. You have TikTok in the marketplace. You have other player also getting more and more popular in the social media world. So moving forward, I think Mark Zuckerberg forever is one of the most innovative business mind around. He looks into a new space to continue, the leadership. And what he in June 2021, Mark Zuckerberg started to share his vision to turn the social media platform Facebook into a metaverse company. He said that now we are looking at the internet, but in the future we will be in the internet, the in experience, the be in the internet experience, by immersing the user totally into a virtual world, right? To be in the internet. And he also believed that metaverse will be the successor to the mobile internet. Nowadays, most of us uses mobile phone, to communicate, to do e-commerce. In not a too distant future, we probably will be doing e-commerce. We will receive our entertainment. We will meet in a virtual 3D immersive world of metaverse. And this is the vision of Facebook. So in October 28 to 2021, during the annual Connect conference, Mark Zuckerberg actually formally changed the name from Facebook to Meta. And, the question is, are we on the ground floor of the next big thing, right? Because if the first company to capture the opportunity of the next big thing, definitely you have a head start, in the brave new world. So this is what Facebook is doing, launching itself fully into the metaverse world. Okay, and okay, so metaverse will represent uh, metaverse would represent the next paradigm shift, right? In the past 30 years, we see many paradigm shift. We see that there is a shift from the desktop internet to mobile internet, and with the mobile internet, then we have the here riding business model. We have we communicate through mobile phone. The latest paradigm is the shift to the metaverse. So what is metaverse? Metaverse is actually the latest gateway to the internet. In the past, we use computer, and then we use mobile phone. Now we will use, augmented reality and also the virtual reality device like an Oculus, and we will immerse ourselves into a programmable 3D virtual environment, right? So by the key characteristic is metaverse is going to be more immersive, and the advent of metaverse also open up a lot of opportunity for new virtual reality devices, for better chips, processor, better display, or better software development platform to be developed. Right? There will, if you look at the mobile world, it has given rise to crypto entrepreneur. You have the App Store. In the metaverse world, there will be metaverse, a new group of metaverse and entrepreneurs, and metaverse is still at its infancy. No one knows how metaverse will eventually become, will be end up with. It is constantly changing, but I think safeguarding the innovation, whatever new innovation by IP. Is very important if you want to stay ahead of the if we want to stay ahead of competitors. So if you look at the metaverse world, in the trademark world, with this sudden explosion about metaverse, the number of trademark applications relating to metaverse has also grown. Up to now, June 2022, USPTO, US Patent and Trademark Office, has received more than 2,000 trademark applications relating to metaverse and also to the NFT. Last year, about 1,008 trademark. The year before 2020, only 150 trademark. So you can see the growth, exponential growth. More and more brands like Coca-Cola, Nike, all the brands are moving into the metaverse, filing new trademarks in classes like Class 9, relating to downloadable virtual goods, on NFT, Class 43 and all that. So these are the development. The metaverse has opened up a new horizon, and more brands are moving to filing trademarks relating to metaverse, because they don't want their brand to be hijacked by someone in the new metaverse world. And also, what has Facebook done in order to rebrand? Facebook has spent $60 million to buy this Meta brand from a Meta Financial Group. Meta Financial Group is a company listed in US. They have been using this word Meta for many years, but this brand was bought over by Facebook. Okay, so it's part of the effort for that to do rebranding. You have to own the name. And for Facebook has also filed many trademarks for Meta brand and logo. These are some of the new brands filed by Meta in Class 42, in Class 38, in Class 35. All these are to cover the activities and also the products to be sold in the metaverse world. So for some of the brand owners who are in the audience today, I think to prepare for the next metaverse world, it is important to revise your branding strategy, start looking into protecting your brand to cover some of the metaverse related activities or products, right? This is very important, and this is already done by some of the biggest brands, as you can see, just now, and the number have exploded in countries like US and China, metaverse related trademark. And also for patent, the metaverse has also opened up another land grab, by companies to come up with new solution to meet the demand of the metaverse world. And we can see that more and more people there are a lot of patent relating to AR, the artificial reality, augmented reality, and the virtual reality headsets and end user devices. Many patents are filed in this area, and Meta, Facebook is actually the largest filer of patent in this area. And there are also innovation in the chip, in the hardware, in the GPU and chips, and NVIDIA actually filed more and more patent on this area to meet the demand of the metaverse world. And there are also gaming platform and application platform. A lot of new patents are filed by players like Microsoft to actually own the innovation in this few areas. Okay, so as far as Facebook is concerned, since 2019, Facebook has filed more patents than other major competitors like Microsoft, Apple, and also Sony in the software in the patent. Okay, and internally, Meta since 2019, it has filed more patents relating to metaverse compared to social media. As you can see, the dotted line, the number of software metaverse related patent within Facebook has exceeded the patent filed for technology relating to social media. As you can see from the statistics, Facebook is taking metaverse very seriously. So in the last part of my presentation, I'm going to share with you some of the patent filed by Metaverse on Metaverse by Meta or Facebook. Okay, one of the patents filed by Meta is on the handheld controller with pressure sensing for virtual reality system. So this is our equivalent to mouse, right? In the desktop age, we have mouse. We need mouse to navigate in the internet. In the metaverse, you need to immerse yourself in the metaverse, and you need to actually navigate. And this is done by way of a position tracking handheld controller. And this handheld controller can actually simulate the movement of a user when you are in metaverse and you move, your hands move. This system will be able to capture the movement of your hand and to simulate it in the metaverse world. So this is what is being filed by Facebook, right? For a user to navigate in the metaverse world, this virtual reality handheld controller for virtual reality with virtual reality system. So basically, what it has is you have a handheld controller with for the system to work, it has the following element. It has to have a head-mounted display. You have to have a display that you can see the screen. You have a camera that is coupled to the display, and you have a handheld controller for the user to control and navigate in the metaverse world. And this display would have an input key, a grip, and also illumination sources. In the handheld device, there are lights around, and this light will be captured by the camera, and this camera capturing the light will transfer it to your movement in the metaverse world. So when your hands move, the illumination on the controller will be transmitted to the camera, through the camera to the system, and it will be translated to your movement in the metaverse world. And this is how this controller can operate in the metaverse world. And the other system that I would like to share is to enhance your immersive experience in the metaverse. What Meta, through its subsidiary Oculus, has come up with is you can have a display that provide images of the real world and images of the metaverse world all put together in your screen, so that when you are inside the metaverse, your avatar is in the metaverse, you will not collide with a physical object in the real world. Because when you're in the metaverse world, everything is virtual. But when you move around, you still have the physical world, right? You don't want to collide with the physical world. So this system project both the real world image and the physical world image, a virtual world image, into a display, and you can not knock against the physical object in the real world. So this is what this system is about. It's again a combination of element in this pattern, in this system. So it has in this system, what you have is you have a head-mounted display, the display where you can see the screen, and you have an image capturing device. This image capturing device is actually your camera. This camera capture images in the physical world. And you have two engines in your Oculus engine. You have a physical overlay engine. This physical overlay engine will capture the image of the physical world and transfer it to the display. And you have the rendering machine. The rendering machine give output about the artificial reality content, the AR content. So this AR content is your virtual world content, will be displayed, and you have the physical world images display. So when you are in the avatar world, you will not knock against your physical object. You can still be in the physical world, but at the same time you have this avatar. Your avatar can be in the virtual world. So this combination of element, is patented by this patent. So if any other metaverse device maker, they want to interpose the two images together in one display, they will be infringing this basic patent, right? This is how you can merge the physical world with the virtual world. The next patent that I would like to share with you is another patent by Meta Oculus, is to put a lot of sensor in your belt, in your glove, and these sensor can communicate, right, with your system, your virtual reality headset, so that when your avatar move around in the metaverse world, you can actually know your movement, right? This movement, when you move physically, it will move in the metaverse world, and at the same time you can feel object. Using this sensor pack glove, you can feel object in the metaverse world. Metaverse is just, it's virtual, but you can actually have this haptic feature that allows you to feel objects in the metaverse world. So how is it possible, right? So it is done possible by this particular patent. This is patent filed in 2019. What it has is actually in your headset, you have a radar device, right? This radar device emits or transmit radar signal. And in your glove, in your belt, you have a lot of transponder. So when this radar device send out radar signal, it will be received by the transponder, which is in your glove or in your belt. And when this signal is returned by the transformer to the radar device, you can calculate the distance between the transponder and also your glove to the radar device. So by doing that, you can calculate the distance, how far your glove is away from your receiver. And by doing that, this information will be transferred to the virtual world and will be shown in your avatar. So when you move, right, it will be shown in the virtual world how you move, using this signal that radar send out and receive, and very quickly, you can calculate the distance and you can map out, the position of the user to simulate your movement in the real world. So this is the combination which was actually patented by Facebook for you to actually get immersed in the metaverse world. So this is another pattern which form the basis of you entering the metaverse world. And the fourth pattern that I would like to share with you is actually using avatar that looks after your own images, right? So in the virtual world, you need to appear in the form of an avatar. And you don't want your avatar to be cartoonish. You want the avatar to look as closely to yourself. So in order to form that avatar, then you need to use a system, and this pattern describes the system how to create an avatar that takes after you. So what happened in this case is, they do your image, take your photo, and you have a template avatar, which is a average avatar. And then this system will look at the difference between the template and your actual self, and it will take all the differences and put it into your avatar, and then eventually this avatar that you create will be as close to you as close as possible. So you can read this claim to understand the step that the system takes to form a real life you, to form a real avatar that takes after you in the virtual world. Okay, so this is the steps that was taken, and the way to implement it is all described, and the claim will describe, the combination of steps that you own. And if anyone wants to create an avatar based on the system, they will be infringing the patent. So I think I have exceeded my time by 15 minutes. It's suffice to say that, I have condensed and summarized some of the patterns that I described just now in the patent handbook that you can actually download. And if you have any questions, you can come and talk to us about what you feel about the patent. And with that, I just want to say that Meta or Facebook has done tremendously well over the years since its listing. Its revenue has grown, a lot despite all the disruption caused by COVID-19. Their revenue is going up and up, and they are now the third most successful or biggest company in terms of market capitalization after Amazon and Alphabet, right? And their share has gone up a lot since IPO, but there was some disruption. There's some, drop recently due to, a lot of reason. I think inflation, interest rate affected their price a little bit. But with all this well thought out strategy, and with the very strong pattern mold that Facebook has acquired over the year, I believe they are going to get more and more, success, in moving forward. So I think with that, I come to the end of my presentation. I think I should pass the floor back to Jai for the next Q&A session. Jai?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Lok. We learned a lot about Meta's IP strategies and interesting patterns found by Meta. So it's now the Q&A session. So we'll answer some of your questions. So we received quite a lot of questions from the audience here on Zoom, especially by Mr. Nasmo and Mr. David Liao. So thank you for your active participation. Wait. Okay, so because we have a lot of questions. But some of the questions are not too related to intellectual property. So we are in no way related to Meta or Mark Zuckerberg too. So I think most questions would be best answered by Meta or Zuckerberg himself, since we can't answer them on their behalf. So, but I'll choose some questions, and we'll see if Mr. Lok has any opinion on the questions, if it's appropriate for us to answer. Okay, so I think the first question from Lynn, it's related to IP, of course. She asked if there's anything Pintas can offer for future trademarking, be it for the metaverse or beyond.
Yeah, I think as you can see from the trademarking activities by some of the brand recently, as you can see, there's like a lot of brands are starting to protect their market in the metaverse world by filing in classes that is relating to NFT, and also in the virtual goods under different classes. I think these are the areas that brands should be looking at, right? Start to look at brand classes like class 9, class like digital token class 36, because when you operate in the metaverse world, I think you probably would want to innovate your business model to let your client experience your brand in the metaverse world by having some virtual goods. So probably the virtual goods should be included in your trademark protection, and that's probably under class 9 because they are all in the form of software. Probably you will be using a digital token for you to sell some of your non-fungible NFT, right? Some of your assets will be sold as a digital token. Those are the important classes of trademark that you may need to look into right now. You don't want that virtual goods and virtual tokens issued under your brand to be hijacked by other competitors. So this is something that you need to do. So when we look into the trademark filed by Facebook for those classes, they are pretty extensive. It's quite wide, and it covers a lot of virtual goods and virtual activities.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Mr. Luk, for your answer. So we have another question from IP or IP. So the question is, as he noticed, most patents are depending on software business methods. So his question is whether he can obtain those patents, although the TRIPS agreement forbid the business method patents in which that blocks society innovations.
This is not a business method per se. It is actually a technological solution. It is actually a technological solution which is delivered by the technological solution delivered by this virtual reality or augmented reality technology. Like, for example, you look at the four software, the 4 patent filed by Meta, right, for Metaverse. They are using hardware and software for you to create a more immersive experience, right? You have camera, you have transponder, you have radar, So it's not business model per se. It's not business model per se. You actually use technology to deliver a result, for you to have a new experience, and to deliver certain advantages to the user. So I don't think this is a software business model patent per se, and I don't think you can't argue that there's no technical effect in those solutions, right? So if once you have technical effect, you can file a patent. Jai, you may want to add to this. What do you think?
Yeah, this is not just related to business methods. You can actually patent protect the different devices or the systems involved. So yeah, it's not really a business method.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah. Yeah, because Mr. David and also Mr. Nasmo were very active just now. So I have selected some questions from them. So yeah, Mr. David Leo actually said he's very curious to see how the various stages of national IP maturity models, especially across Southeast Asia, would or could or might impact the content creators from the ASEAN region in that respect. So, what's your opinion on this, Mr. Mo?
I cannot follow the question. Can you repeat? Sorry.
Yeah, he wants to know how the various stages of the national IP maturity models, especially across Southeast Asia, would impact the content creators from the ASEAN region.
Okay, the different maturity. Okay, yeah, I believe that in some countries are more matured than the others, and but I think when this how would it affect the content creators? So if a patent is filed in any country, it has a monopoly in that country. So if you are a content creator, even though the IP is not matured, but if you do something that is patented, you will still be infringing the patent. So it is up to the court in that country to see whether we can enforce it effectively. So I guess your question is some country probably the legal system are not too matured, so it's more difficult to enforce compared to others, right? Is that your question? If that's the case, we do agree that some of our clients they feel reluctant to file patent in a country that you cannot enforce your patent effectively because they feel that even if I file, I cannot enforce. But on the other hand, by filing a patent, you also have acquire freedom to operate, right? People cannot file something and they stop you from filing. Like, for example, trademark. If you do not trademark your name in a country which is legally not matured, but your competitor can trademark the name in that country and they will keep you out from the market, right? So you don't file IP just for offensive purposes, not because you want to sue someone. Sometimes you need it for defensive reason, right? Because you want to acquire freedom to operate. So I guess for these two reasons, even though it's legally not matured, you still want to have some form of IP.
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
So moving on to the next question by Mr. Nasmu. It's quite long, so I'll read out the question first, and then I'll simplify the question.
Can you show me the chat because I cannot follow to answer the question? Is that a way for you to share that screen with me? Oh, never mind. You just read out.
Yeah, I can't multitask right now. So yeah, the question is how the huge earning of Facebook can help underprivileged communities by initiating charity or entrepreneurship development around the world by focusing innovations for social economic transform for the greatest benefit of mankind. So let me simplify the question. So basically, he's asking how Facebook's innovations can contribute to the social economic transform to benefit mankind?
It's a very, very deep question, which is not related to IP, right? So
yeah,
that is a question you should probably ask Facebook itself. But I believe, this is beyond me. I don't know how to answer that.
Yeah, maybe if the question is directed to Meta, they can provide better answers.
Okay.
Because since we are not related to Meta or Mark Zuckerberg, sorry about that. So yeah, I don't think we have any more questions that are related to intellectual property. So yeah. All right. So again, if you are interested in downloading our handbook for today's topic, you can scan this QR code to download the handbook. And our next topic will be on Samsung. So it will fall on the 28th of July at 2 p.m. Singapore time. Also on Zoom, and I believe you will also be able to view it through Facebook and YouTube. So if you are interested in this topic, please scan the QR code, or you may also contact us at this number and also email address. Yeah. So we do provide a 30-minute free consultation session to new clients. So if we have missed any of your questions just now, we're sorry about that. But you can always contact us so that we can answer you privately. So if you have any questions relating to IP or about today's topic, feel free to contact us to arrange for a meeting with us.
Yeah. Once
So
again,
with that,
thank
we
you
shall end.
everyone for attending our webinar, and we hope to stay in touch.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Thank you. Yep, and stay tuned for the next webinar on Samsung. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Recording stopped.